Yo! Let's go! Semen Retention back with another video today. Look, I know you all are on semen retention journey. If you're struggling, don't worry, you're gonna get through it. Just don't give up, okay? It doesn't matter if you relapse, it doesn't matter. No one cares. You're on your own personal journey, okay? You gotta keep going on this journey. I've been going on for 14 months. I've known about semen retention for 3 years, close to 3 years. So, you know, I've been on and off. I was in a relationship with someone, not even really a relationship. It was all lust driven. It wasn't a pure relationship. Anyway, so I want to talk today about this kind of digital world that we live in this noisy kind of artificial, filtered, over-processed, just, you know, modified junk world that we live in. So, you know, I was listening to the song by Don McLean, American Pie, and it's like, the day the music died, we were singing my Miss American Pie. I drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. You know, what I think about is I'm driving my car, I'm just kind of going about my day normally, okay? I'm on a very high vibration today. I've been setting up my little studio thing that I got going on at the moment. I've been doing some research into how to make a studio without a computer. So today's semen retention episode is about unplugging from the matrix via disconnecting our devices. And think about it. Think about the word device. Device. The vice. La vice. The vices. The vices. Devices are the vices. Devices are the vices. Devices are the vices. What are we doing to ourselves? We're pushing ourselves and plugging ourselves and thrusting ourselves into the matrix via devices. Oh my God. Can I get a amen? So what I'm talking about here is we really need to disconnect from this. This is, it's getting a bit out of hand. I'm listening to the radio and the song that's playing is a song by Dua Lipa. And I just listened to it. It's the song Houdini, and I've heard it a million times before. It's always just, you know, being oversaturated on the airwaves. And I just listened to the beat and her vocals, and I'm like, this is so over-processed, so over-tuned, over-filtered, yada, 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 yada. And I just think to myself, yeah, this is a bit like off-putting. I'm on a high vibration, and even though the tempo of that song is upbeat, it's, you know, it's funky and all that kind of stuff, it's so fake. I just can't resonate with it. And I think that's what happens when you're on semen retention, is something strives to be unplugged from this overly processed and manufactured world. So, you know, I look around me as I drive my car, I see a lot of cars that have been built in factories, creating a lot of pollution, you know, and I see beautiful trees around the roads. The thing is that I think we've got to learn how to coexist with both of them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to eliminate one or the other. So I like using my devices as an instrument or a tool to communicate my ideas with the rest of the world, whether that be through speech or whether that be through music. You know, there's plenty of ways of going about it. But, you know, what I'm trying to get to is that we've got these kind of things that we can use to help us along our journey, but we should learn how to unplug, and we should learn how to detach from device. So when it comes to my own music pursuits, what I'm doing right now is I'm actually setting up my own kind of studio that has no computers or smart technology involved, like no phones or iPads involved. I'll only use a phone if I need to use like YouTube or some sort of like streaming platform to like learn a song, but as far as recording my own music goes, I just want to have a setup where everything goes in and it comes out the speakers and I can just play to myself. You know, I'll play some guitar, record it, you know, press play, it comes through the speakers, I jump on the drums, rehearse it, and then I record the drum part, then I record the bass part, then I record the vocals, yada, 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 yada. So my whole mission, and this is the thing about on Semen Retention, is that you have these goals and these missions that you partake in every day. Every day you're like, man, I'm going to go out there and achieve what it is I need to achieve. So for me, what I find is I found a device that allows me to do it. And funnily enough, last night I got offered a gig to do today, and it's the same amount of money I'll earn today as this device will cost. And it's perfect because this is exactly what I need. So now what it's going to do, it's going to allow me to disconnect my phone, my iPad, etc. There's something about the LCD screen, you know, this hyper technicolor screens that we've got. It's very off-putting, and it feels, you know, some may consider it unnatural. And, you know, that's what I'm talking about, is that these screens aren't what we're made to be looking at. So when I make music, I'm no longer to be sitting behind a computer and looking into a screen and trying to think about how to do things. I'm going to be meditating whilst listening with my ears and getting to that end result quicker. So this is the whole thing, being in touch with these primal instincts, these, you know, like these natural abilities that we've always had, okay? So this is what we're aiming for when we're on Semen Retention, is to really tap into this natural energy, this natural creativity that we've got. All those devices that we use, phones, tablets, computers, etc., they are distraction. Like it's just distraction after distraction. It's just endless. It keeps going on. So what you need to do is you need to get to a point where you can finally say to yourself, all right, I'm done with this. I'm done with these distractive kind of devices. I'm going to get in touch with my natural senses. I'm going to hear the music. I'm going to feel it in my heart. I'm going to express it through my throat. And I'm not going to use my stupid brain to think like a robot as I observe things with my eyes. Because if you're on Semen Retention long enough, you understand that when you are observing things with your eyes, you're only observing 1% of reality. You aren't actually, you aren't actually taking in all the senses and all the little synchronicities and secret messages that the universe or God will say. Sometimes God will send you a message through the sound of a bird, or through, you know, a sign on a car, or through a feeling in your gut, or, you know, the smell of someone's perfume that actually isn't in the room. So it's stuff like that that you need to start to consider. And once you get on that wavelength, that's when you really start to understand that this is what we do Semen Retention for. We do it to cultivate these natural senses, these extra kind of extraordinary sixth senses and psychic kind of senses. Some people call them like clairaudience, clairvoyance, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's basically what I want to talk about today. Is I just wanted to talk about detaching from the devices. I think there's going to be a time on my Semen Retention journey on YouTube where I just have to probably retreat back into the natural world a bit more, like probably about like 90% natural world, 10% device, because I'm already reducing my screen time. I'm already kind of feeling fatigue from processed sounds and, you know, digital kind of like ways of being, and I'm just getting a little bit kind of I'm just over it. I'm not even mad. I'm just like, it's boring, you know? It's just so, it's so soulless. Like, it's like food that's just been made in a factory. There's no love in it. Like, as much as you want to, you know, pump it up and promote it and, you know, put some marketing money behind things and advertise them as something that are actually beneficial, at the end of the day, it's, I don't care. Like, I actually just don't care. Like, you give me food that I know is grown from like a place that is like actually a place where I know exists, and I will feel and taste the love in that food, because I can literally taste how good it tastes. Organic, locally sourced food. But if you give me food that's fast and convenient and open 24 hours a day, and, you know, I eat the meat and it looks spongy and it tastes weird and I feel sick, well, the chances are I'm just eating garbage that's just like processed, manufactured, and I just fell for some advertising bait. So that's the whole reason why we're unplugging from our devices on semen retention. And, you know, I don't care if that results in me getting less views on YouTube or, you know, less impressions on my social medias and all that kind of stuff. I don't care. I live in the real world. I go out there, my magnetic aura draws things to me regardless of what technology we're using at the time, okay? This is the power of semen retention. This is the power of electromagnetic auras and, you know, your ojas and your chakras and all that kind of stuff working in conjunction with this practice. So with all that being said, I want you guys to just consider this fact. How much can you detach from the devices? How much can you unplug from the mainframe, from the motherboard, from, you know, this overly digitized world? So I'll leave you with that. Keep on your semen retention journey, and I'll catch you later.